maybe like stop listening to what everyone else says about you or thinks that they know about you. So I was thinking about it, looking back at what mom and dad instilled in us as kids, which was mom and dad were the authorities in the home and we were to trust them and they loved us. And I know deep down inside, I knew that they genuinely loved and cared for us and wanted what they felt was best for us. And I wish I would say that my 18-year-old self, that it would be that I trusted that more.
We've grown up, we all have our own kids. Melissa, you live across the country. We're not together in the same town anymore. But it's great to see how each of you are focusing in on different things that are particularly important. So Melissa, I know that motherhood is a sacred role for you. Can you just talk about that for a minute?
Oh, sure. So Jason and I, we have our 5 kids and we've chosen to home educate them. With home educating them, it's really, I would say, the biggest lesson that I've learned in it, and what I love the most about it is it gives me time with them.
Yeah.
I have time with them. We are hardly ever rushed into doing anything, and I get to delight in them and enjoy them and tie strings with them and watch them grow.
Now that's such a homeschooler
Is it?
phrase right there, tie strings with them.
I know,
See,
I
people
was just
thinking,
gonna say,
they're thinking
can
that
you
you're
explain
sitting
what
there
that
tying
means?
strings with your children. Explain what that means.
We do a lot of hand, I'm learning all these fun things that we don't do, but it's fun to watch everyone else do them.
What does tying strings mean?
I tie heartstrings to them. I get to just like delight in them and enjoy them and see what they love, and they come in.
Your relationship with
Yes,
them.
the relationship is so important, and I honestly believe mom and dad did such a great job in doing that with us kids, even though we weren't home educated.
Yeah.
The focus was family. Family always came first before anyone else. And so I'm just carrying that on with my family. Our family is first, and I want them to enjoy one another. I want them to learn what it is to function as a family and a family unit, and to enjoy one another, and then take that out of our home and enjoy others and delight in other people. And the home educating just allows us to do that. It gives us the time to just slow down, not worry about what everyone else is doing, and we can just grow together and learn together. And that's what I love about it.
And you're doing such a great job of it. Your kids are awesome. We love your
Serious,
kids. But how do you do it without losing your mind? You have 5 kids, and you're
No
teaching.
one said I didn't lose my mind.
Okay, but that's a huge responsibility. But you're doing such a great job at it.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I love what it's
I
producing
really
in your
do
kids.
love it, and I think that it's not everyone feels this way, and I do know that, but I genuinely enjoy it and feel that children and people are meant to be invested in, and I'm just investing
And you're able to do it.
generationally and investing in the future with our kids.
Yeah.
And I'm starting with them, and it pours out. I know it does.
Yeah.
I'm just trusting in that.
That's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Bridgette, as a mom, that's equally as important to you as it is to Melissa and Candace. You had actually a really interesting experience with your 3rd baby.
Yes.
And not many people have ever heard that story. You have 3 kids.
I have 3 children.
At the time you had Cameron.
I had Cameron and Everett, and I was
Everett.
pregnant.
Okay.
With my 3rd, and the 2 boys were very young, and I woke up one afternoon from a nap, and I noticed that I started bleeding, and I immediately knew that I was miscarrying. I just had that instinct.
Wait, did you know you were pregnant?
I knew I was
you
pregnant.
Knew you were pregnant.
I knew I was
Okay.
pregnant, and so I immediately just was like, I'm having a miscarriage. So I called my neighbor and I told her to take me to the hospital. And I was in the hospital room, and there were nurses and doctors just running around because there was just so much going on with my body. And I called Mom and I told her, Mom, I'm having a miscarriage. And she said, Bridgette, whatever you do not let the doctors take you into the OR. And I said, Mom, they're prepping me to go in and, to do a procedure. And she said, Bridgette, do not let the doctors do anything until you get an ultrasound. And I was like, Mom, but they, and she said, Bridgette, please, I'm just begging you. And I said, okay. So the nurse came in and she was about ready to take me, and I looked at her and I said, I'm doing the ultrasound in the room. And she said, no, we'll do the ultrasound in the OR. And I said, no, I'm having it here. Well, then I became the problem patient.
Yeah.
The eye rolling from the nurses,
We got a
and
difficult
oh my
one.
gosh, and you know, we got a difficult patient. So they came in and they brought the machine in there. And at that point, John had come in, my husband, and Mom was on her way. And they did the ultrasound, and the nurse looked at me, and she looked at the ultrasound, or the machine. She looked at me again, and she looked at the machine, and I go, what? I go, why, what? And she started crying, and she said, you're still pregnant. And I started crying, and I said, how can you say that to me when I just miscarried at home in my bathroom? I just physically said goodbye to my child. And I was 9 weeks at the time. And she said, you're still pregnant. And she turned the monitor and showed me, and there was a heartbeat. And John and I just looked at each other and we just said, what is going on? And Mom came in at that point, and she saw us crying, and she said, honey, I'm so sorry. And we had never experienced a miscarriage in our family, you know, none of you or Mom or anything. And I said, Mom, I'm still pregnant. And she's like, what? And I said, yes. I said, look. And so at that point, I knew that there was something else going on. God was just giving me that sense that something else was happening. So I went to a doctor that had delivered Everett, and she did an ultrasound on me, and she instantly said, you were carrying twins. And I had no idea that I was carrying twins. But I did miscarry one at home and carried the second one first. And Mom told me to name the one that passed, and so I have, and that's Sophia, and Reese is here.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. And if you had gone into the OR and
If
had
I
the
hadn't
procedure,
listened to Mom, and Mom being so persistent with me to not let them take me, Reese would not be here.
Oh.
So I'm grateful, very grateful.
Yeah.
You listen to your mother. That is
Seriously.
the story. I'm telling you.
I want to go hug Mom all over
Listen
again.
to your mother.
And I'm really enjoying this oatmeal. I want to go go hug Dad too.
I know, Dad's awesome.
So Melissa and Bridgette have younger kids, but our kids are a little bit older. Mm-hmm. So you have 3, we have 6, and they're starting to fly the nest. One of my daughters is in Texas, Lev is in Colorado, and Jack is about to get married. So have you thought about what the empty nest syndrome is going to even look like? I mean,
Well,
have you talked with Val about what you're going to do in this new chapter?
We just started thinking about it. Because I'm like, whoa, how much do we really like each other?
Right.
Like, what are we gonna do together? What do we have in common? Because you
Right.
invest all these years in your children, and they're such a huge part of your life. And then, so yeah, we started thinking like, what are we gonna do? Just you and me. But you know what, I've loved the teenage years, and I've always said, like, I've enjoyed them more than the younger years, even though I really enjoyed the younger years. But I so enjoy the adult conversations that I have with my kids. I like seeing who they've grown into as young men and women, and how they're gonna influence the world and what they're gonna do with their lives. So I've loved these teenage years, and it excites me to see them fly the coop. And I'm gonna miss them terribly. I hope we're still all within the same city. I mean, we do everything together, so in that sense it's hard, but I'm so excited for them. So it makes me really happy, and I can look back and look at what Val and I have done with our kids, and I'm like, okay, I feel good. Like you were talking about investing, I feel like we've done the best job that Val and I could do.
Right.
Doesn't have to be anyone else's style, but we feel like we did the best job and with our kids, so makes me happy.
That's so great. It really is exciting, because these are the years where you plant all these seeds,
Right.
like in a garden, and all these years you're watering and nurturing and lots of sunlight, and now you start to see the fruit and you see who they're going to become. And I agree with you. I've been looking forward to the day when I get my girlfriend back.
Right.
Right? Like Chelsea and I had 6 years before we started having
Right.
kids. And we would travel, you just pick up, and just go somewhere without the restraint. Now we've got 6 kids, we've got 3 dogs, and it's these are the precious moments we will look back on for sure.
Right.
But I know I'm going to make some more precious memories
Yes, I'm
in a
sure.
few years when I can.
Oh, that's
know,
not true, though.
get with-
That's not true. You guys
What's
aren't
that?
going to start dating again because you're going to have grandbabies right away.
You know,
and
I think
Chelsea
you're right.
is going to be the first one to
Okay.
go, no, babies,
Come
come over.
here,
Come
yeah.
on over. Nope, Kirk, we're not going. I got the babies.
You're
I got the
alone.
You're right.
grandbabies.
I can see it. The writing's on the wall.
It's never going to happen.
You know what? You're right.
come-
I need to lay it down now because I'm looking forward to it. Jack's getting married this year, and if he has kids soon, I'm going to have grandkids before our
So you have
other
about
kids
a
are even out
year.
of the house.
You have about a year, potentially a year, maybe 2
Yep.
years. That you
This
gotta-
should have gone in the marriage vows, I think.
Should. We could rewrite them.
Okay. If you had the chance to go back and give your 18-year-old self some advice,
Oh my gosh.
what would
I'm
you
already
tell?
gonna
What would you tell you?
be nicer to mom. Be nicer to mom. Oh, I would. And I feel like I was pretty nice, but they're now things because Natasha's
mom?
20, but I'm just like, you're so mean to me for no reason. And my best friend, I was talking to Dylan and she goes, do you not remember you did the same thing to your mother at 20 years old? She's like, you were just like, you got so annoyed by her so quickly. And now I'm like, you're right, I did. So mom, I'm sorry. I would tell myself, be nice to mom. She just loves you and wants the best for you.
How could you be mean to mom? She clothed you. She fed you.
I know, I would just have an attitude. I
know.
would just
I was
have
the
like
same.
a,
I was horrible as a teenager. I fed your hamsters to my snake.
You were
I was an awful little
horrible.
kid.
You were great.
What did you need to hear when you were 18?
Maybe like stop listening to what everyone else says about you or thinks that they know about you. So I was thinking about it, looking back at what mom and dad instilled in us as kids, which was mom and dad were the authorities in the home and we were to trust them and they loved us. And I know deep down inside, I knew that they genuinely loved and cared for us and wanted what they felt was best for us. And I wish I would say that my 18-year-old self, that it would be that I trusted that more. Now, maybe it didn't come from the Lord back then, but I can look back at it now and know it absolutely did come from that. Maybe not in the way that they did it. And so genuinely as a parent now, it's that same, mine will be the love from the Lord that I now want to pass on to my children. But it would be to really trust your mom and your dad and God who know you and love you intimately.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish I would have known back at 18, that it was that kind of love that is valuable and it's worth everything and it means the most, not what someone else thinks about you, what someone else says, because those can be good and bad influences.
I'm so glad you're saying that, because think of how many more voices are in our kids' ears through their phone, with social media, and there's thousands.
Yeah.
How important it is to have a trusted voice that you can really believe. How about you, Bridge?
I know it was hard for mom and dad because I did love entertainment. I loved dancing and acting and doing
You're a
all of
comedian.
that. Well, I don't know if I'm a comedian.
You are, you
I don't
kind of
know
are.
if I'm
I
gonna
think
say
you are.
that.
She's funny.
But I think I would just wish that I would have maybe pursued that. But God always has his perfect plan. And so even though it wasn't during when I was, maybe at that time when I was younger, but my goodness, I worked, on Full House with you. So it wasn't, I got to be in what I love to do and perform and stuff, even though I wasn't in front of the camera. I was behind working with you, but I was able to do other things with other actors, and so I was able to do that.
Well, I think you're in your prime right now.
I think you are.
Dancing,
It's amazing.
making your YouTube videos like this. It's all timing.